This time, the chair recognizes the gentleman from Connecticut, Mr. Dodd.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, Mrs. Porter.
Good morning.
Mrs. Porter, yesterday, in response to a question from Congressman Pryor, you said that you could not state as an opinion as to whether Lee Oswald assassinated President Kennedy. Now, as I understand it, you testified that you believed that Lee Oswald attempted to assassinate General Walker. You testified that you prevented Lee Oswald from leaving the house by locking him in a bathroom because you believed that he was going to shoot Richard Nixon. You further testified that you do not believe that Lee Oswald would have worked with an accomplice. And in answering the question as to whether Lee Oswald could have worked with an accomplice, you stated that although you weren't a psychiatrist, you knew him very well and could say that what he might and might not do. Now, Mrs. Porter, I'm going to ask you again, just as Congressman Pryor did yesterday. Do you believe that Lee Oswald killed the President of the United States?
I honestly don't know how to answer this question. I can just repeat what I said yesterday. I'm not in position to make statement to force somebody to believe my way, or if you just want my personal...
You're not going to be forcing anyone to believe one way or another.
Or convince somebody. If you want just my personal opinion...
That was what you were asked yesterday.
Yes, I do.
You do believe that your husband... What is your full answer to that question?
Yes, I do believe that the man was capable of doing such a crime.
Do you believe he acted alone?
Yes, I do.
Now, would you tell this committee what you believe to be what the reasons are? What basis do you draw that conclusion?
Maybe just a plain intuition, I don't know, but I did not claim that I knew man very well. But whatever portion of his life that I share with him, I came to a conclusion that, or not conclusion, but at least I do not believe that Lee will trust and confine in someone.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear your last statement there. You didn't?
I do not believe that he would confine in somebody. He wasn't that open of a person.
Is what you're telling the committee...
Only from what I know.
I understand that. As what you're telling the committee that as a result of having lived with this man for 4 years...
I don't believe it was that long.
Well, 3 years, whatever the period of time was there. That you knew him well, knew him better probably than any other human being.
I don't know.
And that as a result of your knowledge of him, is it on that basis in which you draw the conclusion?
Yes, sir.
Are you aware, or do you have any knowledge of the fact that Lee Oswald attempted suicide at any point in his life?
I did not know when we were married. I found out about that later.
How much later did you find out?
After the assassination.
After the assassination?
Yes.
You never noticed any scars on his wrists?
Yes, I did know the scar.
Did you ask him about them?
Yes.
And what was his response to you?
He didn't want to talk about it. He said it was something in his childhood he'd rather not to talk about.
Were you suspicious of the fact that he may have attempted suicide?
No.